Winnie, my sister.
Pixie, my love.
I have a question.
You do? I would love to hear it.
So, the whole sub versus dub, like sub elitist people who think that if you listen to dub, you're beneath them.
Yes.
So, you know the video game like term for that, like in that context for gamers?
No, I don't. What is it?
I don't know either, but I do know that there are people who are really obnoxious with video games and think that their interpretation is the only way. I don't like them.
Tell me about
They suck.
it.
They suck. I hate them. They're mean. They're not nice. They're rude, very bad, no good people.
This is why you need to play Claire Obscure.
What?
This is why you need to beat Claire Obscure.
Okay. I'll probably stream a little bit more tonight after I have dinner. So,
But what brings up the elitist of video gamers?
okay, so in order to be able to fully explain in context these comments that bothered me, I will have to explain a little bit of the game to you.
Oh, sounds good.
Hey.
Yes, tell me, tell me.
Okay. The name of this video game is Gris. A lot of people pronounce it like Grease, like the movie Grease. It's Spanish, it means gray. You can say Grease, you can say Gris, it doesn't matter. It's developed by a Spanish company called Nomada Studios. It's about a woman who is basically full of calm life and color, and she has a beautiful singing voice that seems to soothe her and bring her confidence. And the color is stunning and feminine. We begin our game with our character in the palm of a statue of a woman. No one knows who the woman symbolizes, but it doesn't look like her. But what makes this so special is that everyone has their own interpretation that fits for them. Suddenly, she loses her voice and then loses her energy, where she then falls away from life and color down into a land of black and white. Her fall symbolizes something traumatic happening in her life. The game has no talking, no narration, no definitive explanation for what specifically happened to her. I love that because each person I talked to about this game said they felt drawn to it on a personal level, and it made them think about something they've been through. It's made just vague enough where anyone can relate to it. It reminds me of the quote from Vincent van Gogh. My opinion is that the best thing would be to work on till art lovers feel drawn toward it of their own accord, instead of having to praise or explain it. Basically, meaning sometimes the best art has a depth and pull to it where each person who sees it can see a part of themselves in it, and no one is wrong in their interpretation or what draws them to it. I think this game does that, and that's a part of what makes it so beautiful. When I first played it, I had just been diagnosed with fibromyalgia and was simultaneously dealing with horrific anxiety. I didn't know at that time that I also had PTSD. With everything that was going on, I was drawn to the sense of loss that was shown, the anger and sadness and helplessness, grieving the life that I thought I would have. After picking herself up and slowly walking and shaking off the initial shock, our character runs through the gray world and works through each stage of grief. Through each stage, she learns a new skill through her magic dress to help her cope and move through each emotion. I like the magic dress. She collects stars through her processing her emotions to create a staircase to get back up to where she was before she fell when she was held by the statue. In the process, she sees the crumpled, beautiful statues resembling the one she fell from, and they all show despair. Each level you complete brings back a color and brings back her strength, and she's able to climb higher. Some of the puzzles are frustrating, but for the most part, it's really simple and meant to be more of a self-reflection game than a complicated one. Along the way, you get a cute sidekick. Unfortunately, he is only there for a part of this level. While I was upset that the friend you make is only there for a short time, I love the representation of accepting a bit of help when you need it. The art is absolutely stunning and is really inspiring. It feels like you're playing an interactive painting in a way. When I was a kid and my favorite part of Blue's Clues was jumping into the paintings, this gave me that feeling. The music is also so pretty. I'm thinking of buying the vinyl. It's a really short game, but meaningful, at least to me. Well, the first time playing, I felt like it resembled exactly what it felt like when I got a chronic illness and lost my ability to function normally. But playing through it a second time after processing my childhood trauma and being diagnosed with PTSD, I started crying because the second playthrough felt like I was playing a different game with a different meaning. I saw myself in the broken statues of the women slowly crumbling to the ground. It resembled exactly what it felt like dealing with processing SA. I was surprised at how I was able to process through two different things at different points in my life with the same game. I am most impressed by it because without saying this game is about this one specific thing, they made it where each gamer could relate to it and be drawn to it in their own way and for their own reasons. It genuinely reflects the human experience and how everyone can experience trauma and overcome it with the right support and tools. And it also reminds me of the innate part of us that chooses survival and strength through the despair. Okay, so basically, as I said, one of the main things that I love about the game is everyone is drawn to it for their own reasons, and you can find something to take from it no matter what you're going through for the most part, which I think is beautiful. It helped me through the things that I stated before, and also when my dad passed, I felt like it really represented loss, like grief. I don't think it has a super defined intended meaning. And I think they did that on purpose, and I appreciate that. But with the secret ending that you unlock by collecting all of the kind of like hidden light that aren't necessary to like move forward to make the staircases, they're just extra ones you can get. When you collect all of those, you get like a secret ending, I suppose, or just like the extra cutscene. And it seems to show the main character as a younger girl and the statue as a like a real woman, not a statue. And there's symbolism in her holding the star in her hand and kind of like handing it to the childlike version of the main character. And it is identical to her hand being held out when she, as an adult, is laying in the statue's palm, and then the light kind of dances around her as a little girl and she's happy. And it's a very sweet scene. And I immediately in my mind thought, oh, it means XYZ. But then I thought, I wonder like if I showed it to somebody else who doesn't know what I think about it, what they would think. So I showed it to my husband and he said something completely different of what he thought it represented. So then I thought, I wonder what other people think it means. And the comments just had a little like, it was not the worst comment section I've ever seen by far, but it was a little, they were uppity comments. And what I took it to mean for me personally, my opinion for me personally, subjectively,
How
is
dare you? How
a
dare
big,
you have an
I,
opinion
I
personally?
know, how dare I have an opinion on the internet? Oh my gosh. But like a big part of the game is she's running away from this shadow figure that keeps chasing her and taking different forms. You're thinking like, where is this thing coming from? It's like will not let her alone. And it's very fearful, right? But then it eventually, instead of running from it, she turns and faces it. And it turns into her face and it kind of like overtakes her like the Venom symbiote. But
Oh,
then because she's collected all the stars, the light bursts out from her and it eradicates the shadow gooey figure completely. So it was like she had to stop running and face her fears, face the things that she was avoiding, facing her traumas, facing all of the icky stuff that happens when you go through life. And that's what eventually at the end makes it go away completely. Is she has to go through this process of finding her strength to be able to face herself. I took it as the game is it's about internal healing from traumas, right? Grief, loss, or anything that might be able to represent. And then when I saw what I viewed like as like a flashback or a vision, I guess, is kind of like her, the statue woman representing just womanhood, being a woman, how being a woman is beautiful and delicate and nothing to be ashamed of. And I viewed it as her kind of full circle, then healing her inner child with her, having the star and it dancing around her and everything. That's just kind of like the split second thought I had while watching it.
mhm.
And I thought, oh, that's really pretty. That's beautiful. But I read the comments and there are people saying, see, I told you I was right. It was about her mother dying. The statue was her mother. And it was about her mother dying and her mother's death. And if you haven't experienced your mother dying, then you have no right to say you'll understand this game.
Oh my gosh.
I was like,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And I was kind of like, oh, wow. Huh? Because like obviously I've never my mom is still alive, but I've lost her in different ways.
I think it might
that
help
I
to
won't
say
go
it.
into, but
You
huh?
lost her to dementia, and I don't think there's anything wrong in saying that.
Yeah, that's true. I did lose my mom to dementia. My mom is no longer my mom. She's a stranger now, and that's very painful. My dad is dead. He died a couple years ago.
Mm.
R.I.P. Dad. But honestly, though, like it's very like if I chose to think about it that way, I could, but that's just not what I get out of it, you know?
Hmm.
But I would never dare like look at someone who said, "Hey, like I had a really tough time in college. I felt like I wasn't good enough. So I dropped out and I became a waitress and now I just felt like my family's disappointed in me that I'm a waitress instead of getting my degree and this game helps me process through feeling like I'm not living up to unfair expectations of me." Like that, I would never dream of telling that person, "You're wrong. That's not what the game's about. How dare you get that beautiful insight from this game when actually it's about me."
This whole thing, always, it's all me.
It's just that thought would never cross my mind. So just kind of seeing that disappointed me a little bit, but I'm not surprised because it's the internet. But I don't want to diminish their pain because losing a mother is it's very painful. But that doesn't make other people's pain less painful for them. So I love the game. I love its symbolism. I love that even in the last part, people can still take from it what hits them the most and what it means most for them. And if something genuinely helps you heal, even if don't let people to say to you, "Oh, it's just a video game. It's so stupid. It doesn't mean that much." If it helped you, if it's healthy and it helps you and it helps you process through grief and trauma and it helps you self-reflect and grow as a person, don't let anybody tell you that your perception on it is wrong. Like middle finger, both of them, right in their face.
Hmm.
Process it the way you want to because no, don't listen to those people. They're trapped in, I want to say this, not nice but not too mean. They're trapped in their need for validation.
Hmm.
And when you let go of the need for everyone to accept and validate what you're feeling, it's a lot easier to process through what you're needing to process. And I think they're kind of stuck there. I don't know if any of that made sense, but
No, you make perfect sense because it's like when you tell me about the shadows and her having to face herself, I don't really think of loss of a mom. I do think of
right.
things going on within you. That doesn't mean
Yeah.
this isn't about whatever losing her mom or anything. I don't know what it's like to
Mhm.
lose a mom. I guess I would imagine that kind of grief looks differently because it's more of looking at a reality versus looking at yourself is what I would think. And I don't want anyone getting mad at me saying this is just my speculation versus like what you say, like with trauma and other issues and things happening in your life, and you have to face that. And it makes sense, like building up your strength so you can look at that strength that's yourself. I almost feel like if it was strictly about her mom dying, it would have to be her mom is the shadow. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes perfect sense. And
So for someone like me, that's
yeah,
how I would interpret it, is that it's her mom. And then you'd see the secret ending with her mom. But the fact that it's her, I feel like is much deeper than just losing a mom, I guess.
I agree. That's what I think too, is it's something that's happening inside of her, like to her and inside of her.
Right.
But I mean, I also can totally see how if someone has lost a mom, how they would get that from this as well. But that doesn't mean that any person is wrong though, like
Right.
I don't know. I think some people just get so caught up in
Their own grief,
their own
own
grief and
feelings.
their own feelings and wanting to be the one with the most trauma, which I'll never understand that mindset because why would you want to have the most trauma? When you get a lot of trauma, you want to get rid of it, trust me. But I don't like the comparisons of, oh, you haven't gone through what I've gone through, therefore you can't have a say. I don't like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I just like people who are nice, and I don't like people who aren't nice. That's just how I'll summarize it.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Nice people are easier to get along with for sure than not nice people.
Yes, I agree.
But that sounds like fun though. It makes me want to play it.
I think you would like it. Like, it's not like anything super like, whoa, groundbreaking, but it's kind of like if you go into it with a little bit of self-reflection, as in like, what is this making me think or feel? It can be a little surprising, like what the things that might bring up, if that makes sense for like you personally. At least that's what it does for me. So
It's your own little therapy session, maybe.
here you go. Or you might just play it and be like, it's just a game. Who knows?
No, I love games with that make you think and get your brain kind of going and symbolism and all that stuff. I love that.
Me too. If you do play it, I want to hear your thoughts to like what you think about some of the scenes and stuff. So,
Okay, maybe I'll stream Grease and then you stream the Claire Obscure.
yeah, yay. I love
I
that.
also want you to
My voice,
stream.
yeah.
That got you excited.
Yeah.
They rant and rave